Hello and welcome back. In the previous class, I identified the differences between a single thread, double thread, and multiple threads. Today, I'll be showing you different beautiful hand stitching designs. Here are different hand stitching techniques that I illustrated on this piece of fabric. I didn't place this on an embroidery hoop, and I did not draw any lines, so it's not particularly very straight, but it illustrates exactly what you're expected to learn in this class. So let me identify them one by one. Here we have a blanket stitch. It's called a blanket stitch because it's what you find at the hem of most blankets. Here you have a running stitch. I'll explain how this is done and the many advantages or uses of a running stitch. Here is a back stitch, the split stitch. The split stitch is very similar to the back stitch. The only difference is instead of moving in regular intervals, you are going to break the intervals on a split stitch. Here you have the whip hem stitch. The whip hem stitch is used to hem the bottom of any outfit like a skirt or a gown. It's used to hold the hem in place. Here I folded the fabric. If you look closely, you'll see the fabric is folded like the hem of a skirt. And so the whip stitch holds the hem in place. And also there is another type of hem stitch here. It's called the blind hem stitch. There's also a fold here, as you can see, but unlike the whip hem stitch that is obvious, it comes in this diagonal designs. You can see the stitches on the blind hem stitch because it's supposed to be blind. It's supposed to be inside. I'm going to teach you how to do that. It just has tiny knots, which if you were using the same color of thread as the fabric, it would not be obvious. Here you have the satin stitch. Here is the cross stitch. And finally, this is the zigzag stitch. Finally, I'll also be teaching you something called a slip stitch. A slip stitch. But of all these 10 designs identified, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the slip stitch making 10, I'll be showing you just about how to make 5 or 6 of them, because most of these ones are used in embroidery designs. So I'll teach you how to make a running stitch, a back stitch, a split stitch, whip hem stitch, blind stitch, and also a slip stitch. So let's get started. I cut out these 2 pieces of fabric from our dark blue bundle here that I promised we'll be using for illustrations. So first of all, I want you to learn to identify the wrong side and the right side of a fabric. If you look closely, you can see the patterns on the right side. It's a lot brighter and clearer. But if you check the wrong side, it's just a dull face. You can see the patterns very clearly, right? So this is the right side, and here is the wrong side. So I just cut out the fabrics in no particular measurements using my medium to large scissors. And if you want your stitching to be smoother, maybe you should iron this piece. It's a bit rough, but even without ironing, you'll get it right. Now, the reason why I want you to understand the right side and the wrong side of fabrics is because whenever you're making stitches, you should always put the right sides together like this. Right sides together. So on the outside where you'll be stitching on the wrong sides only. Wrong side here, the wrong side here. Do you understand? I hope you do. So here's the right side. You close the fabrics, the pieces of fabric with the right sides inside and the wrong sides on the outside. So when you're done stitching, I'll show you why you need to do it this way when we are done stitching. Okay, so let's start. I am going to press mine just to make it straight and smooth. If you're less than the age of 12, I suggest you ask an adult for assistance with the iron. Okay, this looks good already, straight, smooth. And I will be using some pins to put them in place. So see, it's been held in place and it's not moving anywhere. You see that? The next thing we're going to do is make use of a ruler and a tailoring chalk. This is your ruler and this is the tailoring chalk. Sorry, it's broken, but it still serves its purpose. I will be marking out 1 inch. 1 inch is here. The longer side. We're not dealing with centimeters here, we're dealing with inches. So 1 inch on the ruler. Place the ruler here and mark out. I need to get my glasses, just a moment please. Okay, 1 inch. Mark out 1 inch from the edge of the fabric like this. I'm doing this so that your stitches can be very neat. When you're making your outfits, you probably won't be using this line anymore, because by then you'll be very proficient in hand stitching a straight line. So this is what you have now. Then we'll start with the stitches. This is not even very straight, but it's good, it's okay. So I'm going to use I think I should use the pink thread. Oh, it's about to get tangled up here. Yep, that's okay. Here's my pink thread. And it's the line. So let me move closely to you. It's not a straight line. I think I should do this again. You see, even Auntie KB makes mistakes, so it's fine if you don't draw your lines very straight, but the straighter the better. Okay, this is better. The line looks better now. Okay, so let's start the running stitch. So you see, I inserted the needle from the back and it's out now. Pull this out. And then just about, you place it back in just about 1/4 of an inch. This is about 1/4 of an inch space. So you place it back in. I'm not using a thimble because, well, I've been making hand stitches since I was 11 years old, so I think being older too helps. So bring it back again, but not on this line. You take it back like about 1/2 inch with a 1/2 inch space again from the back. So you stick it in like this on the same line. Don't forget 1/2 inch space. Make sure the spaces are equal as much as possible. No one is perfect, but you can try. See, out, down, put it back in again. another 1/4 of an inch in, and you pull your thread out. You see? So another 1/4 of an inch space on the line. This is a lot better. And then you pull, and then put it back in again, and you do this continuously until you're done with your stitching. You see this? You could make this even, the spaces even slimmer. It doesn't have to be this wide. This is just for illustration purposes, so you can see exactly what I'm trying to do. Okay, so let's make another one. Make sure you use your thimble to protect your fingers. And that straight line. And pull it out again. And insert it one more time. Now, when you are proficient with this, you do not even need to go in and out anymore. You could just do this. You see? The inside again, and another one outside. Then bring back the needle. I wish I was in a longer needle. Then put it in, and then bring it out again. That's about 4 times, right? You see? In, out, in, out, in, out. That's a lot faster, isn't it? One more time. In, out, in, out, It's a bit lopsided. That's fine. Then again, in, out, inside, and outside. Finally, take it inside. This is what you get. Your running stitch. Now this is one of the things I like about a running stitch. I'm going to take out the pins here. I'm going to show you something that you can do with the running stitch. When you want to pleat a fabric, them your ruffles, all you need to do is pull. See? Pull on either ends. And see? And it gives this ruffled edge or ruffled look. See? Remember this on your skirt or gowns? This is how you do it. You use a running stitch to create this gathered effect. Okay, so I'm going to pull it back. Make it straight again. Simple. And that's how you do it. A running stitch. How do you end your stitches? You could use a French knot, but a much simpler method is this. This is the back of the stitches. You could just about 1 or 2 strands of fabric, prick it back in, and then bring it back out like this. See? Just pick a few fabric strands, pull, and then just before the loop tightens out, you turn it in. You put your needle in once or twice. I'm going to do it 2 times, and then pull it out, and it ties at the end. Basically, that's a French knot, and it stays in place. It doesn't pull out anymore. Should I do that again? Yes, Auntie KB, do it one more time. So you just at the end, hold a few strands of fabric. Can you see that? You could do this, or you could just push it in and push it out like this, in, right? Pull it out at the back. Then before the loop gets tightened out here, you push back your needle inside, and then through the loop, push it in through the loop, and push it in through the loop like this, and pull out. Voila, it's done. Into small scissors, cut it out, and we're done with a running stitch. That's the back, and here's the front side. Nice, isn't it? And simple. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, and that is a back stitch. So I'm going to use, let me see. Okay, I'll still use the leftover of the pink thread. The back stitch is very similar to the running stitch, except that the stitches are continuous, unlike the running stitch where the stitches break in between. In the back stitch, you do not have any breaks in between. You have to stitch them closely together with very little or no spaces in between. In fact, no spaces in between. So let's do this. And once again, I'm going to draw a line for illustrations to make it straight and easy for you to understand. Okay, 1 inch spaces, okay? Okay. So I'll draw the line here. Yeah, it's a lot better, right? Good. So let's start. I'm going to start from here. This intersection from between the running stitch and the back stitch here. Now you put it back in, just as with the running stitch, and it's out again, you see, straight line. You put it back in as you will do with the running stitch, but this time around, instead of moving forward, you move backwards. Instead of moving forward, you move backward. Instead of moving forward, you move backwards. Now, stop here, push in the needle, and bring it out again. from the back. See that? And then moving forward this time around, because there's no way to go to at the back, so you have to move forward. Yeah, it's in again, pull it out, and then as close as possible to the previous thread, stick it in, stick your needle in, and pull out. Put it back in again. And then very closely to the previous stitch, stick the needle in, and you pull it off from the back. Push it in well. One more time. So you go back and back and back. I think that's why it's called a back stitch. Okay, so we're drawing a line will help you keep your stitches in a straight line. Occasionally they will be bent, like this is bent already, but the stitches will still hold very well. You're not a machine, don't forget that. But with time, as you do this more often, you get more proficient in it. So this time around, I'm not sticking in and out anymore. See, just the way I taught you with the running stitch, you can actually push the needle from here and jump that line, jump this thread, move on to the next line here. Bring it out from here. Voila. So you see, this is exactly what you do, but instead of sticking the needle in, pulling it out and sticking it back in again, sticking it back out again, you don't have to do this. You can just in one motion get it done this way, and then you pull it out. One more time, let me show you. Stick the needle in, push it forward at the back, and then skip this part, of course, and bring out the needle from this end. See? I'll do this again and again until we end the line. Relax. We don't want your fabric crumbling up like that, so pull it out, make it firmer. So the back stitch is very similar to a machine stitch, and it holds a lot firmly than the running stitch. I'll draw an illustration. See, now I want to pull just the way I did with the running stitch. I'll pull this end and let's see. It doesn't move. See? I keep pulling and tugging and tugging and tugging, and it stays right in place. Unlike the running stitch, where I was able to pull and make some frills. But with this, it holds in place very tightly. That's why the stitches are a lot stronger than the running stitch. So once again, I'm going to end this. In fact, I'm trying to get it back in place. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Because the thread is still running free, I'm going to pull it out here, and yeah, straight now. I'm going to end this line. It's ended. and come here to tie this end the stitches and tie a knot at the end of the stitches. Put it in, push it in, and then out again. There should be a loop formed at the back already. Yep, there is one here. Push the needle out through the loop. There you go. So I'll do a French knot here. Just a few strands of the fabric. I think a little more than that. Yep, this is good. Then 1, 2, I think it's okay. Then you pull it out. And it's tightly in place. Your back stitch